New to OSR, looking for tips for writing a one-shot. I don't know if there's much. One-shots are tricky. And I think they require a flexibility on the part of the GM mostly. And the particular kind of buy-in from the players. You know you're running a one-shot, and I'm assuming a one-shot they mean kind of a one-night, one-day, one-game session stand. Players have to sort of be on a same page too, as far as we're not going to fiddle-faddle on stuff that isn't important. We're not going to make it a chore to get into the adventure. I like to start one-shots where you're kind of already in the adventure, so there's not even the, well, you're at the inn or the tavern, and you know you want the players to look at the job board or talk to somebody or whatever, or that person's going to come up and try to talk to them. The approach is fine, and a lot of players will just be like, oh, great, you have a mission for us? Great, give it to us, let's go. But that could just easily turn into sometimes there's a weird thing where sometimes players in a bunch of different circumstances can become almost the word I'm looking for is escaping me at the moment, but just not they are not helpful to the cause of the table, which is getting an adventure. They'll sort of be obstinate. Oh, what, you want me to go on this thing? Why? What do you want? What are you really after? I want to look to see who else might have other missions I want to go on. It's like, dude, it's a one shot. This is the guy. Talk to the guy, get the adventure hook, and then go. Don't need to go look at other guys. You don't need to do that. The other thing is, if you can cut down on let's spend an hour at the front of this thing buying all our equipment and all that stuff. You know, you could do things like give people just bundles of gear. You can roll randomly, or just have some sort of common sense gear sets they can have, and then you can just start them. Hey, you know, the preamble becomes you were given this job in town. Now you find yourself in front of the dungeon or on the edge of the wilds or whatever it is. Right now, go. And that kind of cuts out a lot of those things that shouldn't really be obstacles, but they can be. But even if they're not obstacles, they're kind of time wasters. It's not what the adventure is about. On a one shot, you really want to stick to what the adventure is about, because there's going to be enough time wasting and things that don't go right inside the one shot. So you want to save time as much as you can. Hey, nothing's in the chat. Hey, nothing. In their opinion, OSR is not well suited to one shots. Not enough time for emergent story. A narrative story-ish game is easier for a one shot. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely stuff in the greater OSR experience that you will miss out on. But I think if it's an intro, a real intro, not like Keep on the Borderlands, which I think is a good first kind of mini campaign, but like an intro, like Tomb of the Serpent Kings, you can give people a real feel for what the turn-by-turn, moment-by-moment life is like for an OSR character in an OSR game. And I think it is useful for that. Yes, you don't get a lot of the I've mistreated my hirelings over 4 or 5 weeks, and finally a reaction roll or a morale roll has gone seriously south, and here's the consequence of that, or some of the other things that might come out. But you're still going to get, you know, wandering monsters and being able to bargain with them or make deals. You'll still get a fair amount of stuff. So, well, I agree. I don't think you're getting 100%, but I think with any one shot, you're not getting 100% of the system. You're always going to be able to make the case that certain things about a game are not going to be revealed in this little short block. But I think it is useful for some things. Nothing says agreed. I run one shots for new players. Yeah, it's great for new players, or if you just have some time, maybe your party. You know, for me, OSR, again, I'm using BX as the base, is easy for me to run. So if I was in a bigger gaming group or another gaming group, and maybe I'm even just a player, I'm not the GM. GM can't make it, or a certain amount of players can't make it. I feel like I could pick up something at OSR, go to Dungeon and find a random map, or go to Dice and Logos and pull up one of his maps, and I could probably run something. It might not be great, but I could do it as a kind of a filler thing, right? And you could roll up characters so fast, especially if you do stuff like, hey, 3-6 down the line. Oh, your strength is good. Great. You pick either a fighter, you know, or really more likely a fighter, maybe a dwarf, right? And you just go down really fast and kind of create something, and then be on your way, right? As opposed to 5th edition, where it feels like you want to spend half your one shot creating characters if you're going to do that.